time for the deep dive. Atlanta Falcons. Win total, 9.5. Last year, 11-5 straight up, 10-6 ATS. Mercy, 13-2-1 to the over. Remember, they lost week 1 at home to Tampa. They also lost to the Chargers at home to drop them to 4-3. Then they went 9-2 straight up in their next 11 games. Both losses were tough. That fluky loss at home against the Chiefs, where they had the 2-point try was returned. There was a fake punt for a touchdown in that as well. And then they lost at Philly in the mother of all bad spots. And then they had the Super Bowl loss as well. Mainstream stats, plus 11 turnover margin, 11 giveaways, tied for the Patriots for NFL low, 22 takeaways, that average. But the big story last year, Teddy, was that offense.
Yeah, it sure was. And again, you know, we when we look at the team previews, we always start with what happened last year. You know, and this team was dominant. I remember that Chiefs game. That was insane. Remember, they were up 1 when they went for that 2-point conversion. They were trying to go up 3, ended up losing by a point as a result of it. But this is a team, you know, only 11 giveaways last year. They had plus 11 in turnovers. That was tied with New England for the NFL low. And they had 22 takeaways, league average. But 11 giveaways, that's not happening this year. Take the over 11. Okay, the offense, 6.7 yards per play. Number 1 in the NFL by a wide margin. 4.6 yards per rush. That's tied for number 4th in the league. 9.2 yards per pass. That's number 1 by a huge margin. Number 2 was a full yard per pass below them. Washington, the Pats were number 3 at 8.1. So they were 1.1 yards per pass better than New England. That number has to go down. 37 sacks allowed a season ago. That's near the league average. But it's the defensive numbers, Pauly, which may well be primed to take a jump in 2017.
Yeah, 92.5 QB rating allowed, below average. 22nd, 34 sacks, right around the average. 4.5 yards per rush allowed, bottom 6 in the NFL. As a result of the Super Bowl loss, they needed a fall guy. The fall guy was Richard Smith, the defensive coordinator. He's out. Manuel's in, who worked with Quinn since Seattle was a secondary coach last year. And look at this. Looky here. The new OC is Sark. Last time we saw this guy in a big spot, he was showing up drunk to work at USC.
Sark sure knows how to get himself a job, and a good job with the defending NFC champs. But, you know, they had a defensive coaching shakeup in the offseason. A couple of position coaches got the axe as well. And going in the offseason, most of the talk was, what are you going to do about defense? Now, they are going to have to adjust to life after Kyle Shanahan. And Shanahan last year, prior to the final 20 minutes of the Super Bowl, had one of the best seasons as an offensive coordinator that I've ever seen. He was dialing up the right play over and over and over again. But now, new offense coordinator, new defense coordinator, and, you got a Super Bowl hangover to go with it. Those definitely concerns. It's a team that only turned the ball over 11 times last year, okay? They had all 5 offensive line starters healthy for every regular season game. 80 for 80 in terms of offensive linemen starting. That, too, not likely to be repeated in 2017. But, man, they added some upgrades. They made some nice upgrades on defense. They locked up Desmond Trufant. They bring in Dontari Poe in free agency to shore up that defensive line against the run. They did lose Jonathan Babineau to retirement, but then they went out and drafted defense after all of that.
Got McKinley out of UCLA, also Riley out of LSU, the linebacker. They did that in the first and the third round. What do you think the SOS?
The strength of schedule last year, slightly easier than average. This year, it's noticeably tougher. Top 10 in the NFL in terms of strength of schedule toughness based on this year's season win totals. The NFC South plays the NFC North and the AFC East. Their 2 extra games, they're both tough. They have Dallas and at Seattle. And again, you know, this is a team that did it mostly with offense last year. This year, you know, we've seen Quinn draft his kind of players on defense 2 years in a row. And we're talking about a team that went 13-2-0 to the over last year. That ain't happening in 2017.
The Super Bowl loser has a horrible ATS record in week 1. And they're at Chicago laying points. I know the Bears could be a dumpster fire, but that's something to keep in mind as well. It's going to be hard getting over that Super Bowl loss. I think that stays with them for the rest of their lives.
As well it should, because that was about as egregious a meltdown as you'll ever see on the biggest stage that the NFL has to offer.
Gun to your head. First, what do you think? Over, under?
Under. You know, you don't bet Super Bowl losers over. Period. You know, you just don't do it.
Hey guys, for the full video, go to sbrpicks.com.
Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to our channel. Now, we've put a lot of work into producing all these free videos, so please help us out and keep all our content free for you forever by simply liking, sharing, commenting, and subscribing. Now, not to mention, a visit to our industry-leading website will warm the hearts of all our SBR employees, especially myself. Now, the links are over there to the left, so do check those out. Thanks for watching.